one of one. That's it. That's the summary. That's the game summary. Caitlin Clark is one of one. Incredible performance tonight. Incredible. Just you find yourself watching Caitlin Clark play and just shaking your head. You do. You know it's real because you're looking at it, but you still can't believe that somebody is shooting a 35-foot jump shot. Incredible. Congratulations to the Iowa Hawkeyes. Congratulations to the LSU Tigers on a great season. But tonight was all Iowa. Tonight was all Iowa. If you saw the video before that I did today with my prediction, my preview, exactly what played out. It's exactly what played out. My mother used to say, I specifically told you not to do, that was my mother. And that's today. I specifically said you cannot let Caitlin get a 40 piece. I think I said a 39 piece, a 40 piece and double digit assists, dimes. You can't let it happen. If that is the scenario, LSU is going to get beaten. And they did. That's all you had to do. And I'm being tongue in cheek here. Tongue in cheek here. I can't tongue in cheek and cheap. By saying like all you have to do like it's easy. It's not easy. But it is very prescriptive. All you have to do to have a chance at beating Iowa is to contain the offensive explosivity, if you will, of Caitlin Clark. You can't have her get off on her own with her own shots and be explosive as an assist woman. That's a recipe for absolute defeat. And we saw it tonight. When LSU was most effective is when they were defensively wreaking a little bit of havoc on Iowa. But it's like I said in my first video, y'all. It's late in the season. I said this in a video 2 months ago. In March, as you're heading to the March to Madness, as you're heading to the Final Four, it is the battle of fatigue. Just go back and look at some of my other videos. I'm like, this is what you're fighting. The team that wins is the team that can win the fatigue game. These players are tired. You got to know, you have to have a plan for winning the fatigue game. And I thought that LSU had an early plan for how they wanted to approach this game, but then all best laid plans go out the door when Caitlin Clark dots your eye with the 39-foot jump shot, 3 in a row. So that's specifically why in the previous video I said, listen, you got to have a Caitlin plan. And my recommendation, if I were coaching LSU, I would say this is what we're doing with Caitlin, and we got to contain her. Okay, if we're agreeing that she's going to get 30 to 40 points. We got to keep her assists down to the 5 point mark. 4 to 5 of those max. So you say, well, what does that mean? What does that really mean? That means that when Caitlin starts getting double digit assists and it's paralleling, 20, 30, 40 points, the game is wide open. The court is a big blue ocean. Everything is working offensively when Caitlin gets to get hers and she gets to make everybody else better. You cannot beat Iowa if those two things are happening at the same time. You can't do it. So you have to have a plan for neutralizing, containing at least one of those elements. Containing her assist game or containing her offensive output game just based on her shooting shots. And tonight she did it all. So, and here's the thing. The thing that's hard to do that at this time of the season is because everybody's tired. Everybody's tired. Which is also why Dawn Staley has the leg up. Her bench is deep. She can go 10 deep. Guarantee you, Don understands. Don knows from having played as a player and also coaching forever. Come March, you better either be way better than everybody else and or have a bench. The team that wins the game of fatigue wins the championship. Because here's the thing, it's not just about whether you're tired, it's what you do when you're tired. You defend less, you rebound less, you run the floor less. So whoever fights through that fatigue typically wins. Perform better. Look at Texas versus NC State. Texas was gassed. Gassed. And yeah, they made a run. It got interesting when they went to a 2-3 zone, and it got interesting. But by then, it was too late. So fatigue is going to play a factor. How do you manage fatigue heading into the Final Four? But back to Caitlin Clark, shooting 39 and 40 footers. Listen, I'm going to look at the full box score. This is an incredible game to watch. If you guys saw my bracket, you know that my Final Four team, my bracket was flawless right up until like the second round game. Every pick I placed on my bracket was accurate. Right up until I can't remember who lost, and I was like, oh, there goes my bracket. There goes a part of my bracket. But my Final Four teams were South Carolina, of course, Texas, UConn, and LSU. Those were my four. The way my bracket was set up. Those were the four teams, and we almost got there. Those things almost came true. I was talking to some friends today during the game, and they said, "Well, how did you pick your people? How'd you pick your Final Four? How'd you get to where you got to with your Final Four teams?" I said, "I'm not emotional about the bracket. When you're not emotional about your picks, you can kind of see what could possibly happen. Like I could have literally had the four that showed up in my bracket: Texas, South Carolina, UConn, and LSU. That was legit. Until you factor in all the other things. How well Iowa played, how tired Texas got, how short Texas's bench was. Even in looking at the USC game tonight with UConn, just a little bit more, USC could have pulled that game out. It could have all been different. The point is, that's why it's called March Madness. So let's look at this box score real quickly. And let's compare some of the numbers. What happened. I will say also that Angel Reese's ankle or leg or whatever that was, that definitely had an impact. She was, even though literally she had, 17 points and 20 rebounds we're all looking at right now. 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. I mean, that's with the hampered ankle. Angel Reese's departure from the game definitely had an impact. Not saying Iowa would not have won anyway, but that definitely had an impact on it. They had 4 in double figures, but they had to fight for those double figures. I didn't think anybody had a great game. I thought Flau'jae Johnson was the brightest star for the LSU Tigers. She was pretty amazing at different times in the game. Played 37 minutes, 10 of 18, 1 of 6 from three-point line. Yeah, I remember my video. I said if I'm coaching Iowa, I'm making LSU I'm giving them lots of three-point shots. Absolutely. And I look at the three-point game of LSU today, 4 of 8. Michaela Williams, that was great. But everybody else, Flau'jae, 1 of 6. Van Lith, 1 of 6. Right? That's the shot I'm giving them. Long 2s and 3s. And let's see the rebounding game. LSU had 23. Iowa had 30. Let's look at number of shots taken. LSU went 34 of 88. Iowa, they took 21 or 19? They took fewer shots. 88 shots for LSU, 69 shots for Iowa. 46% from the field, 41% from three-point land, 77% from the free throw line, and that's for Iowa. But 20 more shots LSU got. They just didn't shoot well. It was a poor shooting night for LSU. Crazy, crazy night. Let's look at Caitlin's numbers. I mean, guys, she crazy. The assist game was unlocked. The assist game was crazy. 12 assists, stayed out of foul trouble, 5 turnovers, shot 30 shots, 29 shots, 9 of 20 from 3 point line. Oh my God. 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Caitlin had a great game. Now a lot of people will go, oh, but she hoisted 23 pointers. That's her game. That's her game. She's shot 33 pointers in games before. That's the game she plays. That's how Iowa has done what they've done. Let Caitlin be Caitlin. But let's look at some of the other players because I said earlier, Iowa is going to do what Iowa does when Clark gets going, but it's the other folks on the team. A Falter, 16 points. Great game, 37 minutes. Martin, 21 points. 8 of 16, 39 minutes, 4 from the free throw line. They were great. I mean, you have to give it to them. They had a great team performance. Great team performance. So, Iowa will face UConn in the semis in the national tournament in the Final Four this weekend. And South Carolina will face NC State. I know folks are writing NC State off for some reason. I get that they had a rocky road to get to the Final Four, but they have come on strong and played really, really well leading up to the Final Four. So let's not count out the Wolfpack at all. This is going to be an interesting Final Four. I'm still going with South Carolina to win it all. But I was just saying to my brother, like, wouldn't it be crazy if Iowa won the national title? Listen, from what I've seen in the last 2 weeks, it could happen. It could absolutely happen. Who's your pick? Who's your pick to win it all? We'll see you guys tomorrow.